Here's a big question I bet you maybe like myself have asked yourself and brought up when the idea of losing weight came up. You said, how do I really stay motivated to lose weight? Because I've tried it before so many times. I got on track and then I stopped. So how do I stay motivated to actually get to the weight that I want to get to? That's what I want to cover in this video podcast. And this is from a series that we do called You Ask, We Answer on weight loss. And I always keep coming back to doing videos on this and podcasts because I got to tell you, I think of all the things you can do for your healthy habits, RX Healthy Habits, the most important thing you can do is get to normal weight for a lot of reasons, for your stamina, your energy, but also for your health. As a pharmacist, I can tell you a lot of diseases are linked to obesity and sometimes just being overweight. Matter of fact, 1 out of 3 Americans over 45 years of age are pre-diabetic, which means they're on the way to type 2. It's kind of scary stuff. So I'm going to go through, and this is all in a blog on our website called How to Stay Motivated to Lose Weight, and of course our newsletter, which comes out every week. So I highly recommend you reach out to us to get on that because it's once a week. It's great. But I'm not going to go through all the points in the blog because I want you to read them, but I'm just going to cover a few that I think held me back because all I can speak to is the mistakes I made, and I hope by passing them along it'll serve you well because I know that I was not motivated, and many times I couldn't stay motivated to lose weight because I was violating some of these things here. And these are some strategies I hope they help you. Number 1, set clear, realistic goals. I think many times when I started on a weight loss program, I didn't stop and say to myself, hey, what's your goal and how serious are you about that being really clear and specific? Sometimes I set it too high, sometimes I set it too soon. So what I had to do is to realize that if I was going to set a goal, it was probably going to be based on me getting to that weight by looking at 1 to 2 pounds per week realistically. That was a realistic, clear goal. Now, why was it so clear to me to get to that goal? In my case, I was hypertensive, I was on hypercholesterol medications, and I was almost pre-diabetic. I was right there. So my doctor said, look, next time you come back, if you don't lose at least 15 pounds, I'm putting you on medication for diabetes. And that, to me, made me set a clear, realistic goal. So I don't know if that helps you, but that's what I had to do. I was really lacking. Number 2. This is number 2 of the 10 points in the blog. I'm only going to cover 5 because I don't want to waste a lot of time on this because you can read about this. So, and there's a lot more on You Ask, We Answer on this topic. But number 2, I was not really keeping track of the calories that I was eating. I didn't know the caloric content. And I'm going to recommend you keep a food diary. And you're going to have to look some of this up. There's a lot of great programs out there to know what's in the food you're eating. And I had to look up a lot of stuff. Now, my wife also helped me with this. We had to come up with some healthy recipes for some food because we were eating a lot of pastas and breads and things that weren't good. Her and I came up with some healthy recipes, and I tell you what, she's a genius at this. To this day, we still eat, a lot of times just a simple vegetable with a protein and not very many carbs on some days because we're trying to keep, the carb count lower. The American diet's so much higher in carbs. But when we were really actively trying to get to normal weight, dropping 1 to 2 pounds a week, we had to keep a food diary. Now, on your phone is a great place to do that. You can look things up and keep track. That is so, so important. Now, here's one that I think that I really didn't understand. A lot of times, I would not get enough sleep because I was running the roads, I was really busy, and I was not sleeping enough. And believe it or not, that can be a real factor in causing you to maintain your weight at a higher level because your body has cortisol being secreted, and it's really going to help conserve, fluids, but also it's going to ramp you up. You're going to be hungrier. So not enough sleep is a huge factor. And with that, I want to pair staying hydrated because a lot of times I'd be hungry, and I say, every time I get in a weight loss program, I get so hungry. And when I got hungry, instead of eating something that was probably not smart anyway, under 100 calories, I'd probably go and didn't think about getting a full glass of water and downing that, and that would really keep the hunger away for another hour. So stay hydrated, get enough sleep. Is that huge? Absolutely. Now I want to talk about this one and maybe one more, then we're done. I want to talk about when you go out to eat, you got to have a plan. So I recommend before you go, you take a look at the menu and see if that's going to be a place that's really going to be for you. Can you find some healthier choices on there? And when you go out, I think I would look up the content. I was surprised. I love the Southwest salad at Chick-fil-A, one of my favorite places. But with the dressing, it's over 900 calories. So that's more than a typical meal to have an entree salad. Now, That might be my, it's a great, you got all the other things in there. But my point is, sometimes it's surprising when you go out, some of the content. So if you can find out ahead of time, it's not a bad idea. If you can't, you can look up on some of these programs and say, okay, if I go out and I get French fries, how much calories is that? You need to know that before you go, and you're probably not going to get the French fries. So that's a big one. Now with that, I want to put another thing in there, and that is called indulging. Most of the time, I had trouble staying on a diet because and staying motivated because I said to myself, what if I go to a birthday party and I want to have a big piece of cake and ice cream? Or what if I go out with my friends and hey, they're having chicken wings and I just want to dive in and enjoy that with them? So indulging, here's the thing I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be honest with you. Some people might not agree with this, but I'm going to be honest because it's true. I didn't realize when I was trying to stay motivated to get to normal weight that I was only going to be able to indulge in things that were really not that healthy foods, probably 10% of the time. 90% of the time I was going to have to eat healthy. And I know that sounds crazy because in my case, I think 50% of the time I was eating healthy and 50% of the time I wasn't. Then you're going to cut it. So to be honest with you, when you indulge, you got to do it very, very limited and in moderation. And the last thing on that topic I'm going to say is cheat days are not something that you want to get into a habit of doing every week. I think if you're going to be long-term, that's going to have to be very, very limited. And I don't even like the word cheat days because what are you cheating? Yourself. And then the last thing I want to talk about is this, and this is what got me a lot of times, and that is setbacks. So I'd be on track and I'd be doing everything right and I'd have a setback where on a weekend I'd indulge and maybe I would have friends over and I'd say, well, I didn't eat good yesterday, might as well, what's the big deal, one more day. Before I know it, days became weeks became months, and then I said, hey, I can't seem to lose weight. Or if I did the typical yo-yo, it would be like I would go down and go back up, sometimes more than I did before. So I'm like, these setbacks are really bad. And I think what you got to realize is setbacks are going to happen. It's what you do with your mind about those. And you say to yourself, this is just a small, short setback. I'm back on track. And then you start to say to yourself, this put me in this place where now I'm up 2 pounds because of one weekend. What can I do to avoid that happening again? And I think that's very important that you recognize setbacks, but you have a strategy to overcome them. So I hope that helps. I hope some of those points help. The blog's got more information. All I can tell you is that, just like I said in the beginning, nothing tastes as good as healthy feels. And if you get something out there and you stay focused on it, you stay committed, just keep going. Once you get there, you're not done. Now it's going to be trying to develop those habits for lifelong weight management. And let me tell you, you're still going to have cravings. You're going to still have things you want to indulge in. And you're going to be able to. But you're going to do it in much limited amount. And what you're going to find is you're actually going to start gravitating towards healthier foods. And that's what you're actually going to crave. Once in a while, yeah, you're still going to want to crave the goodies. But you're going to find that long term, it's going to be such a different lifestyle. And you'll never have to worry about this thing again, where you're trying to stay motivated, because you're really not going to have to be on a diet again. Make sense? So I hope that helps. And until next video podcast, stay healthy and say to yourself, what are some things that I need to really look at that I'm using for reasons not to stay motivated? And I tell you what, you can overcome them. I did, and so can you. Until next video podcast, my friends, stay healthy and get stronger.